Hello, and welcome to the very first episode of Salt Plays Sunless Sea. Also, the very first episode of Salt Plays in general. Now, I'll be starting a new game for this. I have played this game before. I have about 50 hours on Steam. I'm not very good at it, so we'll see how this goes. Yes, I'm sure that I want to start a new game. While it's loading, just really quickly, I want to introduce myself. You can call me Saltqueer or Salt, and I use z, zem, zir pronouns, and I'll have some stuff down in the description if you want to learn how those work. And the splash text here says, long periods at Z will drive your crew and you insane with fear. Leaving the lights on will help, although it will burn fuel faster. I'm planning on making an attempt at reading all of the text. I might not read all of the logbook text, but other than that, I don't like how low this appears. I always move it up. Okay, Captain's Making. 3 decades ago, in the reign of Victoria, London was stolen by bats. Now it lies a mile below the surface. It was dreadfully inconvenient for everyone, but it opened a vast black ocean to you. Welcome to the Untersee. We can choose a path, past wreathed in shadows, where I can choose later, or I can just choose a path, past. I am going to choose a past right now. I now lodge in a room above the blind helmsman. My options are, okay, who were you? Now you're a captain. Now you belong to the Untersee. But who were you before? Our options are an ordained priest. You fell from grace. There is nothing left ashore for you. An anonymous benefactor has found this way out for you. Perhaps at Z you can overcome your appetites. This will give you a bonus to hearts, the skill of healing and morale. Can choose a natural philosopher. Your peculiar theories on time, blood, and starlight brought you down to the neath, the cavern where London lies, and now they take you out to Z. This will give you a bonus to mirrors, the skill of detection and perception. Veteran of the campaign of 68. You fought in the invasion of hell. London's armies lost. You survived. Your loot and your pension have bought you a command. This will give you a bonus to iron, the skill of causing direct damage. A poet, educated and articulate, you seek sensation at sea. How lucky you had a legacy to spend. Your long-vanished father had a rich patron, it seems. This will give you a bonus to pages, the skill of trickery and knowledge. Or a street urchin. Your urchin gang cast you out when you grew too tall. You took to sea rather than graduate to larger crimes. The last big score was enough to buy a ship. This will give you a bonus to veils, the skill of subtlety and evasion. I'm going to go for the bonus to mirrors. I don't usually do that. Let's see how this goes. All right. Your acquaintance, the plausible surgeon, will serve as ship's doctor until you find someone better. Talk to him to find out why he went to Z. I have some money, some mirrors, a plausible surgeon, and someone is looking for passage. Okay, choose choose an ambition. So I usually pick your father's bones when I play this. I have never gotten far enough that it's particularly mattered. My other playthrough, I'm working on that. So I think actually, you know what? Let's do father's bones. Your father was lost at Z. You never knew him, but you've often dreamed of him. Find and return his remains to London for a decent burial. Full Fathom 5, find where he fell and bring him home. When you found your father's bones, you can retire to victory. Explore fallen London to find your first clue. An occurrence. Your objective ambition quality is now find your father's bones and then retire. A last scrap of paperwork. Captain, Captain, an irregularity with the harbor master's office. They wish to know, what term of address do you prefer ashore? This will determine what people call your captain, but your captain's gender is up to you. I always choose citizen. I'm non-binary, as I've just said. Non-binary is the way to go. Citizen, perhaps you're some sort of rabble-rousing enthusiast, eh? A last piece of advice, explore, take chances. This captain will probably die. The Z is hungry, but each captain passes on lessons to the next. Alright. What do I want them to look like? I really like this silhouette. Oh, fuck. I didn't even think about names. Okay, I'm trying to be quick because this is a Let's Play and I don't feel like editing. Let's go with... Nope. Jamie. Alright, Captain Jamie. Your father's bones, a cold trail. Your father lost at Z's so very long ago. The trail was cold, but now you have a lead. The gracious widow. It is said that she controls half the crime in London. It is said that she is 500 years old. It is said that she can distill spirits that delight the tongue and melt the flesh. It is said that she has paid for a memorial headstone to be set up for your father. What does she know? Let's go. The night under the earth. The widow receives you in utter darkness, blank as a bandage laid across your eyes. This is usual for the widow. Yes, she says, and her voice is oddly youthful. I have an interest in your father. I had hoped news of the headstone would bring someone looking, and here you are. I have an idea where his bones might be. Perhaps you will help me recover them, but I would like you to cover my expenses first. I need something for my tonics, Scintillac. You can find it in Port Cecil. I understand. You may go. Bring a unit of Scintillac from Port Cecil for the widow. Port Cecil can be found in the center of the Untersee, near the Khanate. Okay, cool. I do like Port Cecil. I don't think I need... No, I have no need to read any... I guess I will read all of this because it's a Let's Play. Alright. On endings and beginnings. Captains often die. This is not the end. When you die, you'll learn lessons, which will help you survive next time. Beware. The layout of the Untersee changes with each new captain, but home waters are stable, and islands will only move so far. Legacies. Future captains can inherit some skills, officers, equipment, and money. Over time, you'll find extra items and advantages that allow you to preserve a greater inheritance. On exploration. Exploration is the heart of the game. Risk brings reward. Staying close to London is safe, but eventually you'll run out of fuel and supplies. Exploring and playing port stories will allow you to find secrets and echoes. Spending secrets and echoes. Speak to your officers to spend secrets on improving your abilities. Spend echoes on equipment in ports. You can often find officers in London. I am quite bad at remembering to play through officers' stories. I will make an attempt to do that, but we will see. On mercy. Unforgiving mode is how the game is meant to be played. One autosave, updated whenever you reach port and wiped on death. If you're getting frustrated or want a more leisurely exploration, you can switch to merciful mode. I always play on unforgiving. Merciful mode. Saving or loading manually will permanently switch your character to merciful mode. This will remove the Invictus token. Completing the game with the Invictus token intact is a badge of honor. I don't mind playing highly repetitive parts. I really enjoy roguelikes, so I have no intention of ever switching to merciful mode. On machines. Your prow lamp dispels darkness, reduces terror increase, allows you to find Z marks. Your engines, of course, drive the ship forward into the night. Both your prow lamp and your engines use fuel. More powerful engines use more fuel, but all lamps use fuel at the same rate. Try not to run out of fuel. Note that the Admiralty will compensate you with fuel for port reports. On finding places to explore, use your Z-Bat Scout. Technically, it's a chiropteroscope, but we're among friends here. Z-Bat? Send out your Z-Bat and it'll tell you where the nearest undiscovered island is. Be warned, if you're moving, it will give less accurate directions. Pause to give the most accurate reading. I do use Z-Bat pretty often early on. Okay, on fighting. When your enemy is in the arc of your guns, you'll see the firing solution. The glow around the fire buttons increase. When it's complete, let them have it. You can fire earlier if you like, but may miss. Larger ships may have access to different gun slots. Avoiding enemy attacks. A green glow means your enemy is in the light. Enemy ships also have an arc on their guns. Try to stay out of their way. Enemy Z-Bats will generally try to ram or bite, enemy Z-Beasts will generally try to ram or bite you, and they'll submerge between times to avoid your attacks. If you're careful and turn your lights off, you may also be able to sneak up behind them and get a shot in first. Let me get a quick drink of water. Sorry if you can hear mouth sounds there. On stories. When you put into port, you can generally explore and exhaust the story options until your next visit. Something awaits you. If you have the something awaits you quality when it's Z, you know that more story is waiting for you when you make port. It'll crop up whenever you're sailing around. If you see a flavor message like distant bells, that means you have something awaits. On terror. Terror increases gradually over time while you're out at Z away from land. Watch the skull. When you see orange or red pips, terror will bump up if you spend much longer in the frightening place. Many events will increase it too. How do I reduce it? Use shore leave in London or in other ports, but London is most cost effective to reduce it. Lots and lots of other stories increase or reduce terror. I have not bought other stories. And finally, let's sell this book. You're a veteran captain and require no more advice? Very well then. I have 50 echoes. Hooray. Okay. Let's grab this passenger. Someone on the docks wants to board your ship. Agree to carry the august travel writer to Gator's Morn. He's prepared to pay handsomely for transport and is keen to commission your ship specifically. Let's go. The august travel writer shakes your hand. His grip is distressingly strong. Thank you. It's Gator's Morn I'm bound for first, he says. I hear they. Aha! He hurries over to your stoker, who is carrying his steamer trunk up the gangplank. No need to trouble yourselves. Give it here. Remember, citizen, Gator's Morn. I'll pay you 150 echoes when we arrive. So we are bound for Gator's Morn. Go through London. Let's adopt this Blimmigan Gallivanter. A Blimmigan sits atop a splintered crate, clicking and whistling at captains as they come near. A polite bow. You extend your hand to the Blimmigan, and the Blimmigan leaps on. Its tendrils entwine with your fingers, and it chitters quietly. It meets your gaze and bobs its dome in greeting. It's very small. Is it old enough for naval service? You're pretty sure its mustache has been drawn on in pen in an attempt to look older. As you approach your ship's gangplank, the creature flutes and vibrates with apparent happiness. The bosun winces as you bring it aboard. You now have one of this Blimmigan Gallivanter. Visit the Admiralty Survey Office. They'll pay for information from Z captains. Find out what and how. I don't have anything right now. Okay, cool. Let's just read all these options anyways. Visit and investigate ports to gain port reports and trade them in here. The first time you trade in a port report, you'll gain Admiralty's favor. Ask if there's anything in particular they need. Well, if we can be assured of your discretion, this port, speak to our agent there and return. We'll see that you're rewarded. Visit the port below and return to London. You can check the details in your journal at any time. Retrieve strategic information from the Iron and Misery Company funging station, somewhere not far from home waters. Oh, that's good. I actually quite like the funging station. I feel like I haven't really gotten many stories there, but it's just like a nice little place. I like mushrooms. I know that this won't give me anything, and I don't have anything else for them. Out into the foggy street. Turn your collar up. I can't do any of those. I like running with not a quite full amount of crew, so I will not be attempting to hire more crew. I do not need to put my ship in dry dock. I can offer passage to a tomb colonist. An immigrant will pay to be taken north to Venderbite. It's oddly difficult to die and fall in London, but when a Londoner is too tatty and wretched to live, they wrap themselves in bandages and take ship for the tomb colonies. Your crew cart these ones aboard in padded coffins. They'll sleep there until the journey is done. The tomb colonist is in your hold. Take them north to the colony of Venderbite and sell them there. We now have one tomb colonist, and we're headed to Venderbite. Okay. Let's look through the lodgings. Your lodgings. Here, you may catch up with your correspondence, rest, or retire altogether from seafaring life. The better your lodgings, the better the quality of your retirement. Naturally. Read the morning papers. The Unexpurgated Gazette, the magazine formerly known as the London Magazine, the Spiteful Trumpeter. News. Let's take that. News from home. The Echo Bazaar, that enigmatic marketplace, has increased its tax on love stories. The traitor Empress has forbidden singing in the street outside her palace. The anarchists of the Calendar Council have inexplicably dynamited a drinking fountain. The Ministry of Public Decency has located and destroyed a nest of gallbladder wasps. Now have one of this recent news. Visit your study, which is not something that I can do. Rest in a room above the blind helmsman, which I also can't do. Purchase an elegant townhouse. I'm quite poor. Consider retirement. I am also quite poor. Let's go back to the rest of the city. I don't have a new recruit, so father's bones. Your father's bones, the next step. Oh yes, this is the Scintillac that I need. Alright, perhaps not. Let's look really briefly at... Okay. I am going to start out by... Oh shit, I did not mean to do that. Buying some fuel and some other fuel and 2 supplies, let's go with. Well, I have quite a bit of capacity in my hold. I'm going to spend all of my money. And let's get going on our inaugural journey. Oh yes, let's speak to this guy. Speak to the plausible surgeon. Hello, my dear. Sit down carefully. Just let me tidy away these implements. We don't want any carelessness, do we? We can either increase our pages. Oh, we'd like to talk about secrets, would we? Secrets are my very favorite. Spending a secret will improve your pages, but no higher than 50. I don't have any secrets. Or we can ask after his desires and ambitions. He's traveled much, seen all manner of wound and malady, but is there anything left for him to discover? Any place he wishes to go? Let's find out. The Chelanate. You know it. They collect corpses. He shifts in his seat. Vast, noble, complicated corpses. What I could learn, what I could see. My dearest captain, if we ever find ourselves in the Chelanate, I do hope you might see fit to release me from our arrangement. The Chelanate can be found somewhere in the far east of the Untersee. Okay. I rarely sail with my light on. I do know that my first goal is Venderbite, but I'm going to check out Hunter's Keep first, because I can. We're going past it anyways. I love the music in this game. I did a couple of test recordings before I did this. It took me a little bit to find a music level that I think is good with my voice. Please let me know if it's not. Hunter's Keep, a quiet isle, a grand old house. A hump of dark wrath swathed in mist like 100 other Untersee islands. But here's a grand house, windows aglow, lawns impossibly green and lush in the false starlight, raked gravel paths. You stand on the dock as the sea nudges the ship's sides. An unexpectedly warm breeze carries the faintest trace of lavender. So we can either present yourself in the house. They have heard your ship come in. Why hide? Walk in the gardens. Take a couple of burly sailors with you just in case, but the gardens are tranquil as moonlight. Or we can reconnoiter the island, plunging cliffs, soft green lawns, a well tucked away in a fold of the grounds. Anything else? Or we can spy on this house. This place may not be as simple as it seems, which is a very modest pages challenge. I'm going to start by reconnoitering the island. The sea's silence. Ships rarely come here. Nothing changes, even the weather. The house is the heart of the isle, the house and the sisters, but the Admiralty may be happy to know that nothing's changed, at least. You now have one of this, a port report, Hunter's Keep. An odd place, best to keep an eye on it. Let's spy on the house. Piano music drifts across the terrace. You peer through a half-open French window into a grand parlor, grand in size, if a little reduced in style by dust and neglect. A dark-haired, pale-skinned young woman bends earnestly over a piano keyboard. Another, fair-haired but unmistakably her sister, sprawls on the sofa with a book. A third sits by the fireplace, staring sorrowfully into the embers. Soon, she says, and the piano music falters and stops. We'll go hungry, and then the end will come. For me, but not for you. The pianist raises her eyes from the keyboard. Hush, if we don't speak of it. She frowns. Has she seen you at the window? You withdraw. You succeeded in a Veils challenge. The higher the quality, the higher the chance of success. You know something of Hunter's Keep. And we have gained 40 fragments. I do know that if you use Hunter's Keep too many times, they all die. I've had that happen before and been very confused about what was going on and looked on the wiki and realized that it's that they die. I don't have a need for them right now, so I'm going to go with perhaps not. There's no shops here, right? No shipyard. Okay, let's head out. And again, I usually sail without my light on most of the time. I am anticipating that one episode of this will cover one trip out and back. We'll see if I can keep that up. But that's my hope. Generally, I've noticed when I play that one trip out and back is about an hour. So that's my hope for how long an episode will be, but we will find out. So we've found Carissa's Point and Horniman's Stag. And I believe this is Venderbite. Yep. I'm learning German right now, and I always want to read this as like Fenderbicht, which I know it's not at all. It's not even very good German pronunciation, but that's what my head suggests. Okay, the trouble with tomb colonists. You've brought this decaying emigrant north. Now what? An absent friend. It is everything I imagined, he tells you breathlessly, but There's someone missing. Please bring her to me. A vague commission. She went off to the Mangrove College. She needed to get out of London, but Vanderbite is just as safe as the college, and I'll wager she's bored of mud by now. Look for the shady sort in the Mangrove College, somewhere in the south of the Untersee. Bring a shady sort to Vanderbite from the Mangrove College. Just what precisely is their problem? And we've lost one tomb colonist. Right, let's look at the tomb colony of Vanderbite. On deck, you can hear the sound that 1,000 bandaged dead make as they shuffle and cough. It's something like the world's most restless concert audience, or the world's most plague-ridden cathedral. We can do a dusty glass of wine. Vanderbite is not the most promising place for shore leave. Too much decay, too little light, too many bandaged walking corpses, few companions of easy virtue. No cinnamon, no recent newspapers, very little pickled cave herring, which we cannot do right now because we have 2 echoes, and we don't really have a need for it either. Our terror is 4 right now. We can explore Vanderbite. Here they favor candlelight over gaslight. The shadows are swagged like cobwebs. The tomb colonists stand still enough to be mistaken for sculpture until they laugh or cough. 1 building in 3 seems abandoned. We can visit the first curator. Captains, the first curator gives audience. The first curator is responsible for the preservation of the tomb colonies. It has been here much longer than London, like all the oldest tomb colonists. But even tomb colonists dissolve in the end. Its time is close. Or we can gather gossip. Who's plotting what out in the tomb colonies? Let's start by exploring Vanderbite. Continue. Monumental ruins. Ooh. The builders of this place worked with great slabs of neath-wall stone, carved with blank-eyed, unsmiling faces and blocky, stoic serpents. And our options are, search warily. The neath is rarely gentle. Treat this place as enemy territory, which is a chancy mirrors challenge. We have a 60% chance of success, or we can have a picnic. Creepers climb the shattered pyramid. An owl blinks at you from an idol's mouth. In the undergrowth, a cave lizard munches decorously on a white cricket. This place seems peaceful. Rest a while. I'm pretty sure that this is a terror-reducing option, which I don't super need, and I'm pretty cautious about the number of supplies that I have, so I'm going to try search warily. A treasure! You're not the first to come here. Someone's left a long oak casket under a carpet of creepers. We succeeded in the challenge. We have finished opening a cache of curiosities, and that is all for now. What's inside? Signed and sealed, a brown paper package marked with a torn label. Once, perhaps, this was a delivery note. Something fragile. A porcelain ornament, a dog-faced or a lion-faced, or a dog-faced lion, or a lion-faced dog, scowling contemplatively from a careful bundle of silk wrappings, creamy white, lushed with apple green. Don't drop it. You now have 1 outlandish artifact. Next up, let's gather gossip. Who's plotting what out in the tomb colonies? Along the coasts of the Untersee, it's remarkably hard to die. The decrepit and nearly dead who leave London become tomb colonists and settle here in bandaged peace. But they don't give up their ties to home or their politics. You gather a handful of complex clues, enough to keep your contacts in London interested. You now have one of this, a port report, Vanderbite. Tomb colonists fill their idle hours with conspiracy. Some of the conspiracies are of interest in London. Lastly, let's visit the first curator. No more light, the obsequious steward cautions you. The curator is terribly afraid of moths. You know, I think I would be too. He opens the door, and you step into near darkness. A pair of luminous lamplighter bees buzz in a latticed ivory tube. There is no other source of light. A bandaged shape, no larger than a child, lies crumpled on a couch. It lifts its head with obvious effort. It takes several seconds for you to distinguish its voice from the soft buzz of the bees. Listen to a whispered request. Z Captain, Silkskin, not much left of me. I will go into the grand sanatorium. Bring me colors, 7 colors. Pay well. Cosmogene, Irigo, Pelican, Steward has list. Find them here and there across the wide black Z. Ask about the Grand Sanatorium. One hears the name whispered here and there in the arcades of Venderbite. A long, low chuckling. Oh, Silkskin, you don't want to know. The chuckling becomes a cough. We don't die here below, not unless we go to Z, so we needed something else, somewhere to end. Accept the commission. Thank you. This poor flesh thirsts for colors. No more words. It collapses, rustling, back onto the couch. Even the effort of speaking seems to have diminished it a little. The audience is over. As the door opens, it shrinks from the finger of light that reaches across the floor. Outside, the obsequious steward nods. The book? Yes, the book. He hands you a slim, illustrated volume. The curator is old as dust. We will all be grateful if you do this one last favor. You now have one of this, the Neathbow. A book for children. One page is devoted to each of the colors of the Neath, which are not found on the surface. Return to the curator with each of the 7 impossible colors in hand. The book's pages give you clues, but you'll need to seek far ports. I know where some of these are, but not all of them. So we have Apocyan. Awakes Apocyan, the blue of memory and brightest coral. Sea Light's Cosmogene, the color of remembered suns. The fecund, the fetid, the fungal. These flourish in the glow of Cosmogene. G is lost in Gant, which remains when all other colors are eaten. Gant can be found where shadows are myriad. I is for Irigo. No one remembers why. Irigo colors the forgotten corners of home. P drowns in Pelican, the color of the deepest Z. Someone has scrawled in the margin, beyond the gate there is a sea more sunless. V marks violent, when blood is shed in aspired place. Violent ink is employed for the most desperate treaties. Behind your mirror, V names Virik, the color of shallow sleep. Right, did I actually accept that? Yes, I have. Okay, the part for now. This, I don't have anything else to do. I could stand to sell my recent news. Have a, get some pocket money. Okay. I think from here I'm going to keep going north. I don't remember if there's more things to be found. Right, let's get these bats. A bat swarm defeated. Little leathery corpses lie scattered across your deck. The rest of the swarm vanishes into the neathy dark. We can either dispose of the corpses. Their mere touch leaves you shuddering. This will slightly reduce terror. Or we can gather up the corpses. They are succulent with stolen blood. Into the pot! We are going to gather up those corpses because I don't need to reduce terror, really. So, an unorthodox diet. Those little bones are troublesome, and the flesh a little gamey, but salt well enough, and they're quite edible. Excuse me a second, I need to put a blanket on. It is not warm in this room, and I cannot use my space heater while I'm recording. Okay, we have gained 1 supplies, and we've gained 1 terror, as is to be expected. We've also found Pickett's Bluff. I do like to try to get as much of the stuff explored as possible. Okay. I really love the sound of this game. I hope it's coming through loud enough that you can hear it well. Oh, a white Z-bat. Xyrs has grown fretful and disobedient, reluctant to go on deck, even in port. There's a white Z-bat watching me up there. Salt's messing. I always forget there's a character named Salt in this. Salt's messenger. Salt's got its eye on me. I'll never see home again. So we can either shoot the Z-bat. If the bloody thing is frightening your bloody crew, you'll bloody well settle its hash, which is a very modest iron challenge. We can feed the Z-bat. If white Z-bats are sacred to Salt, perhaps you'll win Salt's favor, if you believe any of this. We don't have Salt's attention right now. Salt. One of the nameless gods that Xyrs fear. This Xyrs is a conscientious man. Send him to the sick bay on the pretext of a fever, or Salt? Xyrs' superstition. Order him up on deck at once. I'm going to feed the Z-bat. Ooh, lost that crew member. Okay, from your fingers. The Z-bat takes fungal crackers from your fingers as boldly as a parrot. It dips its head to you and chirps something you might mistake for speech. It spreads its wings and leaps into the air. The next day, your crewman is gone, along with one of the ship's boats. No one saw him depart or knows why. You now have the gods of the Z Salt's attention. It's watching you, if it even exists. You know something of the 3 gods of the Z. There are powers. We've lost a crew, and we've gained some fragments. Well, that was fun. Let's keep going north. Up. I do really like this. The few places that they've put things that your boat can sail under. It's very fun. Alright. And here we are in Wither with Endergard Harbor. Alright, Wither. Behind the great arch over the bay, the pale wastes stretch, white and silent as the face of the moon. From here, you might almost imagine they were snow. North of the city, the salt pools fizz with unlikely color. The things that we can do are explore the town, gather intelligence, or take shore leave. Explore the town says, Wither is a quiet, chilly town of gray stone and closed courtyards. The people are neither exactly unfriendly nor exactly hospitable. They have the irritating habit of answering a question with a question. Here and there are odd sights tucked away. I'm going to start by doing that. The wind speaks. You fall into a reverie as you wander the shore. There are words in the wind, a story of sorts, of a gate in the north, of a pale light that began there, of a drowned light that will end there, of a high wilderness that other ships may sail. You lift your eyes. On the wall of a saltworks, someone has scrawled, "Is there a sea more sunless?" Fragments remain unchanged. We now have Storm's attention, and Ancient Anger knows you. That's all for the time in port. We will also gather intelligence. The citizens of Wither enjoy questions, so much so that they always answer a question with another question. This can make intelligence gathering frustrating. Are you asking for any particular reason? At what time of day? Is that your hat? Might it be 6? It could be 6. Eventually, you cobble together enough implication and supposition to compose a report. Why are there so many questions in Wither? We don't need shore leave, and I don't think the House of the Question is useful to us right now. But I will read the text really quickly regardless. The House of the Question. Northwest of Wither Town, the House of the Question stands alone. Here, the initiates of the house make offering to the 3 gods of the deep Z, and perhaps a 4th who is not a god. It's the one place in Wither where you can sometimes get a straight answer for a price. Gaining the attention of a god is useful chiefly for lifting curses, so we can either gain Stone's attention. A flame burns eternally in the Shrine of Stone, bright god of home and healing, bring fuel for her flame and a token from the south where she rules. So we aren't defiant. We have enough echoes that could do this. We have enough fuel that we could do this. We don't have any watchful curios, and we don't have Stone's attention. So if I get a watchful curio, I can do this. I don't know if I've ever had the attention of all 3 gods before. They come and go, and I don't pay a lot of attention to it. We could ask about the drowned man. The initiates of the house are reluctant to speak of him, but you may be able to bribe them enough to gain a few tenuous snippets. We do not have that kind of money right now. Or we can defy the gods, spit on the floor, curse the priests, overturn an altar. This will increase your iron and hearts by 5 each up to 100 and set your terror to 0, but you will never be able to remove any god's curse or benefit in certain other ways. I am not going to do this. I have never done this. I'm a little scared to do it. So I don't have a lot of experience with the storylines of the House of the Question yet. I don't think that I have anything that I want here. I know that I could go, you know what, while I'm up here, I will go all the way north. Not north off the map, just north enough to have the whole, up here get some the little map squares that you get, like that. Turn our lights off. Head over to, I don't remember the name of this port, the one that's directly east of Wither. The Codex? We'll find out very shortly, I suppose. There it is. Codex, yep, I remembered correctly. Hooray. I don't remember if the port here has a name. It does not. Okay. An Isle of Answers. The Isle of Codex. Codex, a desperate cave full of mute exiles and an inexplicable colony of shivering, bad-tempered monkeys. So we can either acquire a doomed monster hunter. This one has waited all her life for a single answer. Give her that answer, and she will be ready to lay down her life. Or we can compile a port report. No one will speak. This is a challenge. Silently forthright. The exiles see many come, fewer leave. Some are even willing to communicate, but their gestures are unfamiliar, the meanings unclear. Even when you can understand, these are answers without questions, as useless as a key without a lock. You now have one of this, a port report codex. The exiles do not speak, and the monkeys merely chatter grumpily. Still, there is information to be gleaned here. And that's all in codex, right? Yeah, that is all in codex. Okay. Let's head south again. I know that I could explore more, but I want to also head south of London before docking back in London again. So I'm not... I usually go farther east on a first voyage. Ooh, let's get the fragments for this. Cthulhu's Rage. I don't remember what that is close to. Oh, but I have gained a secret. Let us speak to this officer. Wow, gotta click on the right damned thing. And assign you as well. Okay, speak to. Increase your pages. Oh ho ho, we'd like to talk about secrets, would we? Secrets are my favorite. Personal attention. He likes to sit very close when he speaks, the plausible surgeon. He speaks familiarly of diseases and hauntings, as if he knew their first names, but chose not to disclose them out of courtesy and discretion. This makes some of his advice confusing, but you do learn intriguing details. So we have gained 1 page's esoteric and occasionally practical knowledge, and we have lost 1 secret. Oh, we have another secret. Okay, let's do that again. I'm not going to read his text again. And, oh yes, he wanted to go to the Chelanate. Keep heading south. Actually, let's see what the Zbet has to tell me. Nothing interesting. Oh, but we could perhaps hunt this bat swarm. They know I'm here. I might as well. A bat swarm defeated. I still don't feel like I need to reduce my terror at all, so let's gain some supplies. This is also an abyss that I don't think I've discovered yet. Yep, that's Kant's Abyss. Kant's Abyss. I don't know how to say that. And Tanachuk. I guess I'll keep my lights on. I know I said I was going to also go south on this first expedition. I guess I have 9 supplies. I can convert stuff into fuel for a while. I'm going to go out this way around Hunter's Keep. Isn't this Rowena's Rocks? I feel like I should get something for that. Oh well. I don't think these guys can do anything for me, but let's find out. A light ship. Yeah, no. There's nothing that they can do for me. Okay. Here's Rowena's rocks. Okay. And Mutton Island. Let's go into port here. Mutton Island, fires on the hillside. Quaker's Haven. Once, this simple fishing village was part of the London suburbs, before London fell and the waters rushed in. Smoke spirals from cottage chimneys, a lonely hill rises behind town. Our options are drinks at the Cock and Magpie. There's only one public house on the island. The Cock and Magpie is famed for its local cider and, of course, the Z-food. We can explore the shore, wander a little way along the shore. We can pick up a wretched mog. Meow. Meow. And that was very loud. Sorry. I didn't even think about it. A yellow-eyed, mangy, piebald thing winds around your ankles like a manacle chain. You've never seen a cat's mouth open that wide. Presumably, it's hungry. I'm not going to adopt this right now. I want to be a little stingy with my supplies because I am anticipating turning them into fuel. And I already have the Blimmigan, which gives me more stats that I'm interested in. Oh yeah, especially that needs 3 supplies. Definitely not. We can chat to the fishermen. They sail the Z around the island. They mend their nets by the harbor. They see all that happens here, but you'll need coin to open their mouths. We can visit the hilltop above town. There's not much wind on the Untersee, but Mutton Island suffers eerie gusts and buffets from an inexplicably local fragment of weather, and the air on the hilltop sometimes carries interesting scents. We can buy supplies and we can buy fuel. Well, we can't because we don't have any money. Let's start by chatting to the fishermen. Little ships and little secrets. Pirates playing the waves, smugglers at their work, connate ships putting in to resupply. Nothing dramatic, but enough to interest the Admiralty. And then, I suppose our other options here really are to visit the hilltop or explore the shore. I like the explore the shore options. So we went beach combing. Take a stroll along the beach. Perhaps the Z has brought you something. Driftwood, a smooth, dark surface, something glinting, just bottle glass, the remnants of a shipwreck, what's washed up here, or a nasty glob of goo. It lies on the shingle like a discarded heart. I want to go for the nasty glob of goo. Scoop it up, wrap it in a cloth, and carry it cautiously back to the ship. Perhaps it contains something less disgusting. You now have an unprepossessing mass, an appalling glob of organic matter and dripping fluids, retrieved from somewhere you'd rather not think about. Ooh. Okay. There is probably something horrible inside, but possibly there is not. We can either go for choice cuts. It won't keep, but it looks tasty. Unlocked when you have an unprepossessing mass, or we can fling it overboard. The smell alone is reason enough. You will gain nothing, but at least you won't suffer terror effects. You know what? I'm very close to London and my terror is very low. Let's go with it. That wasn't very much at all. Plaintive but satisfying. 2 sailors complain that the meat sighs melodramatically when cutlery is applied to it. They are probably engaging in mischief, but your crew become nervous. Nervous but satiated. Our hunger is at 0, and we have gained 1 terror, and we don't have an unprepossessing mass anymore. I don't think there was anything else here to do, and there isn't. There's no shops. Let's go onward southward. I know that you can kill these guys, but I don't want to, so I won't. Oh yes, we should go to the place that lets you go up. Just discover it really quickly. The Cumaean Canal, that's what it's called. Here we go. Oh, and we found another secret. Let's speak to our officer really quickly and get some more pages. It's all the same text as before. I'm not going to read it. That seems like a waste of time. I don't really want to fight this guy. This little dude. I love the music of this game so much. Alright, Cumaean Canal staging area. Here, the dark waters run down from the surface, from a brighter sea. We could travel to the surface, we could listen for surface gossip, or we could gather information for a port report. I'm going to start with listen for the surface gossip. The ships of the surface linger here. This is their lifeline to a warmer place. Daylight. This would be a prime spot for a pub or a wine shop, but the interests of the Echo Bazaar and the laws of London prevent it. They don't like competition. Still, there are temporary, half-legal hostelries and long-moored ships. Here, you trade stories with sun-tanned surface sailors, stories of Paris and Batavia, the lost fires in the final isles. That's all for now, and we now have one vision of the surface. Far above, the sun remains. In Venderbite, they're always eager for news of the surface. And let's gather information for a port report. Many ships pass this way, but perhaps you'll pick up something they missed. Business as usual. The gates open and shut. The locks remain free from sabotage. If anywhere besides London is safe in all the Untersea, it's here. The surface nations have an interest in keeping the way open. You now have one perfunctory port report, the Cumaean Canal. The way to the surface, and a marvel of engineering. The Admiralty has a very modest interest. And that is all to do here. Do they have any shops I'm interested in? No, they do not. Okay. I think from here, I am going to go east one, layer, as I go back up to London. Gotta get that quick little terror reduction. Discover the lighthouse. That means that... what are they called is close by? Gator's Morn? Yes. Oh no, this is Demo Island. Okay. Oh, and now I can start strong with the report, the special information. Demo Island, a fervid forest of fungus. The Iron and Misery Company funding station. I&M has a funder operation here, filling great Bolegus shrooms for building materials, harvesting curally for its, quote, medicinal properties. It's a desperate little outpost of something like civilization. Up puffs the affable factor. Oh, hello, Captain. Thank God for visitors. We'd go quite mad out here otherwise. Quite mad. How can we be of assistance? I will also say, I know I'm putting on voices for these people. Please do not expect me to remember them. I just kind of go off vibes and I have a kind of shit memory. So, we can give the pass sign to the affable factor. We can have tea with the factor. We can explore Mo Island. We can accept a volunteer. We can compile a port report, and we can gather supplies. I'm gonna start by giving the pass sign to the affable factor. The Admiralty asked you to bring back strategic information. This is your contact. A strange smile. Yes, I have it here. The courier ship to Mount Palmerston stopped off to resupply. Tell the Admiralty. Tell them I miss my children. Tell them I can't take it here much longer. The spores. The dark. You now have one strategic information. The Admiralty will certainly want to know this. And you have completed your commission. Return to the Admiralty. The Admiralty has a... Okay, I've already done that. I don't think I need a volunteer. Let's explore Mo Island. Close, crowded thickets of Bolegus and Skirily. The Iron and Misery Company fills them daily, but they grow back almost as fast. The interior of the island is dark and wild. A Blimmigan colony. At the heart of a salty little bog, you come upon a pulsing mound of Blimmigans. They are a rich, dark purple, like viscera, perhaps, or blackberries. They chitter as they swarm. The sound is like pebbles on a beach. Be careful, a single Blimmigan is a nuisance. 100 are a calamity. So we can either assault the colony, repel repulsive creatures, take what you can, which we only have a 30% chance of succeeding on, or we can observe the colony, fascinating creatures, learn what you can, which we have a 63% chance of succeeding on. I am going to observe this colony. And we did it, and we got a secret. Cool. A complex situation. They do resemble the fruiting bodies of fungus. The mound itself looks fungal. Are they the same organism? And they communicate and cooperate. You watch as they drag a marsh rat up the side of the mound, bickering over the disposition of its flesh, and you watch as a half-dozen stand on the top of the mound, listening respectfully to the chittering of a seventh. It's probably reminiscent of a poetry recital. You take notes. A little more water. I didn't think about how much all this talking would dry my mouth out. We succeeded in a mirrors challenge. We've gained 50 fragments, and that is all for now. Okay, let's compile a port report. The Admiralty likes to keep an eye on Iron and Misery's activities. The business of spores. Of course, items activities here don't seem that interesting. Nevertheless, record what you can. And, you know what? Let's gather some supplies. We were fortunate. We have gained 1 supplies and 2 terror. Some of the island's fungus is good to eat. Some is poisonous, hallucinogenic, or mischievous. Good luck. I don't think I want to do that again. There are no shops I'm interested in. Let's head out and go south around here to discover the Phosgene Bleaks. That is one of the... Right, no. Pelican. Okay, never mind. We'll go out around this way and north. Excuse me, just biting my lip. Don't want to fight you. Please don't notice me. Distant bells indeed. Distant bells indeed. Here they are. Okay. Is there really nothing here? Okay. Oh yeah, it's another light ship, huh? Or am I wrong? Yeah, it is another light ship. Okay. I still don't think there are any interesting conversations I can have with these light ship people, but I will pass by just in case. Nope. Okay. Now it's sort of diagonal north. One of the first times I died in this game, actually, I was like 5 seconds from docking in London when my ship ran out of fuel. It was an incredibly frustrating spot to die, because I didn't know that I would die when my ship ran out of fuel. I had kind of assumed that I would be able to, like, skate, you know, like, use the momentum of my ship to travel a little further, but nope. Alright, and I'm thinking I will do all of my returning to London things, and then that will be the end of the first episode of this Let's Play. Alright, we have got the Revenue Men. Her Enduring Majesty's Customs Service works closely with both the Ministry of Public Decency and the Masters of the Bazaar. Today, they have selected you for an inspection. Don't cheek them. We can let them do their worst. We can declare all controlled goods, or we can set something aside. I believe that I can just let them do their worst because I don't have any illicit goods. Vexed and frustrated, they roam your deck like wolves. They tear through your belongings like termites. At last, they leave. Suspicion hasn't changed because it's lower than 5, because I'm not suspicious. What are you talking about? Returning to London, the lights of London welcome you home. This storylet only appears when you've been at sea for a while. And now we can collect messages from the harbour master. All the clatter and song of the dockside, it soothes the soul. Are there messengers for you? What's this? Something has changed. Someone wants to sign on. That's all from the something is happening. You now have a free evening, and the Rose Market bustles on Roser's Wharf. I like to start from the bottom, because I'm like that sometimes, so we'll start by considering a specialist surgeon and not getting anything. I'll read her stuff shortly because I'll have money shortly. We could go to Roser's Wharf, but we don't have anything to sell. And I don't want to use up my free evening because I think I have other things that I can do. You know what? I don't think I've ever actually followed through on this. A little gift. A very fine evening to you, Captain. My, what you might call mentor, is very fond of adventurous Z captains, and he would like to offer you what you might call a dispensation, on account of he is so fond of Z captains. Behind the blind bruiser on the dock stands a dray piled high with fuel and supplies, so we can either accept the dispensation, do make sure you have 15 points of space in the hold, or come back later. It would be embarrassing to have to leave it on the dock. We can inquire further. Who is this patron? Is there a catch? Or we can refuse. Too good to be true? Let's start by inquiring further. An airy wave. He runs a very fine and very liberal establishment just across the river, what is much patronized by sailors and by men of wit and vinegar, and public house, and there is no obligation to speak of. My patron would hope only that you might remember him kindly, and I suppose that if the opportunity should arise for you to return his kindness, then I do not imagine he would refuse your offer. You know what? I'm taking risks. Let's accept this dispensation. Ooh, we got some suspicion. A courteous nod. Well, my patron hopes that you find these little gifts to your liking, and he expects that perhaps someday you might choose to call on him at the Medusa's head. Should that day come, we will make you very welcome and give you any safe conduct what you might require. Good evening to you. He salutes and is gone. We've gained 10 fuel and 5 supplies, and a shadowy figure has made us an offer, and we are suspicious. Oh, you rapscallion. Let's continue. Let's go to London. New recruit. We cannot engage the Presbyteriate adventuress or maybe's daughter. You know what? Let's go to the Admiralty. The Admiralty Survey Office. The Admiralty's picket fleets. The Admiralty's picket fleets and intelligence networks are long gone. The Survey Office pays Z captains a small sum for recent information. Visit and investigate ports to gain port reports and trade them in here. The first time you trade in a port report, you'll gain Admiralty's favor. Alright, let's start with Hunter's Keep. I trust the sisters are keeping well. They are citizens of her enduring majesty, notionally. You no longer have any of this. A port report. Hunter's Keep. We have gained 5 echoes, a favor, and we now have that little stat thing that says we got it, and we gained a fuel. Let me just do this really quickly so that I know how much we have. Back to the Admiralty. Vendor Bite. What have the nearly dead been up to then? We no longer have Vendor Bite. We got 10 echo, a favor, and a fuel. Wither. I refuse to ask any questions. I don't want to give them the satisfaction. We got 20 echo, a favor, and a fuel. The Cumaean Canal. We gained 5 echoes. Codex. Exiled for giving answers. That's Wither for you. Anything new? Okay, we got 20 echoes and a fuel. Quaker's Heaven. Been trying the original rubbery lumps, have we? 5 echoes. Demo Island. You've been to Demo's Gate. We got 20 echoes out of that. Strategic information. What's that? Indeed, I'll send you up directly to speak to the Admiral himself. Pass on strategic information. The Admiral sits up, although he steeples his fingers and pretends calm. Invisible eyes. He's hard to read with those glasses, but he reads the summary intently. Satisfactory, he says at last. Eminently satisfactory, actually. Good work. Take this for your trouble. The clerk will see you paid. So we got 150 echoes from that. Let's ask if there's anything in particular. Frost found? Fucking hell. Let's go back to submitting our port reports. Oh no, there wasn't any other port reports. Okay. Frost found so far away. out into the foggy street. Turn your collar up. Let's go carousing. I think it's carousing. There is no danger here. Try to enjoy yourself. This will reduce your terror. You might run into trouble or romance. A marvelous night out. Sea shanties, fine food, and the warmth of a pub fire. And something more. We lost 5 terror. We were fortunate. We've lost 10 echoes. We have 1 recent news, and we've lost our free evening. Let's go with the likely lass. Okay, sorry. Trouble and romance. That night in Wolfstack, you find yourself sharing a table with a likely lass. She tipsily claims to be a spy. Whatever she is, she's easy to like, and when the evening ends, you're still together. Or a dapper chap, an elegant fellow with a Presbyterian accent and an unexpectedly delighted laugh. By the evening's end, it seems natural that he should accompany you home. Or someone whose name you do not afterwards recall. Your only love is the Z. You'll take comfort where you find it, but that's all it is. I'm gonna go with the likely lass. An interlude. The next morning, she gives you a pewter locket. As you reach for it, she grips it briefly in her fist. Don't you dare forget me, she says. So we now have one of this, a locket with a likely lass's portrait. She never quite smiles, and we've lost 3 terror. Is there anything else I need to do? Let's look at our new recruits really quickly. Let's start with the Maybe's daughter. At the end of the rotting dock, a woman perches on a suitcase. Both she and the suitcase are noticeably cleaner than everything else in view. Hello, where are you headed? On second thoughts, I don't mind. Can I come aboard? Yes, I'm an engineer, but I'm an engineer in a hurry. Let's hire her. If anyone comes looking for me, well, I'm not accepting callers. Can I trust you to pass that on? You don't want them distracting me from my duties. Let's appoint her really quickly. I don't think there's anything else to do. I guess we can visit the university because we do have a secret here. Visit the university. The university has an inexhaustible appetite for secrets, Z specimens, and other tidbits of esoterical lore. Provide a secret to prove yourself worthy of entry. Quite impressed. Oh, yes. The Maritime liaison. I read that very wrong. Oh, yes. The university's maritime liaison whispers breathily. Oh, yes. This is quite a tasty one. Let me explain it to you. He explains, teeth glinting. We've lost our secret, but we now have favors with the antiquarian. You have combed the Z for stories and other treasures, and we've also gained 1 pages. The alarming scholar. The alarming scholar is mercurial, to say the least, a creature of sudden moods and provoking teeth. Possibly her. Is it her? Appointment as university maritime liaison was precautionary to keep his. Is it his? Raise your sharp enthusiasm from causing too many injuries in the faculty. Yes, the scholar whispers breathily. I have a budget for acquisitions. What have you brought me? If we have any knowledge items that the scholar will buy, they'll appear below. I am saving my outlandish artifact because if I remember correctly, I have need of it. So I will not be selling anything. I'm not going to hire any more crew. I don't have a new recruit. I don't need to put my ship in dry dock. I don't need to go carousing. I don't need to visit the Rose Market. I don't have any Centelec. I don't think I have anything that is good for buying or selling. No, I don't. Okay. Well then, that is it. Thank you for watching this, the very first episode of Salt Queer Plays Sunless Sea. Hopefully, I'll see you in a week. Goodbye.